Hi everybody, welcome to Mouthful Monday. Sending a lot of great vibes and high energy your way. So I know every time I come to you guys, I'm in a different spot. I'm just really trying to figure out like what's my area, trying to find the best lighting for things. Like I'm just trying to. You guys gotta work with me while I work with myself. I know I missed you all last week. I'm sorry about that, and I know today is not even Monday. So again, I apologize about that. But I did just want to come out and reach you all and give you all something from my heart. Usually I come and I have something pre-planned, a message I want to say. But today I just want to genuinely speak from the heart. And I just want to talk about how important it is to understand yourself, if that makes sense. Like, I think the most important understanding of anything is the understanding of the self. And when I say the self, I don't necessarily mean the self as you see, like me, like this is me, but this me changes all the time. Like this me has been me, a different me when I was 5, when I was 10, when I was 16, when I'm 22. Like the me that this is changes over time. I'm going to be a different me when I'm 30 and 50 and 70, and like the me changes all the time, but the self is the background of what me is. The self is what brings me to life. I know this may sound like very that you're used to hearing. It's not something that is talked about at all. No one talks about the self. No one talks about the difference between me and the self. No one talks about how they're even the same, even though they appear to be different. But I just wanted to make sure that we all have an understanding of what the self is. The self is the background. And like I was talking to someone the other day, and I was telling them that the self is like when you're reading it, because things have to exist on some other platform. We don't necessarily pay attention to the background of things because we're so focused on what is like in front of us, which is like our perceptions and our feelings and our emotions and thoughts. Like that's what we mostly focus on, but we don't focus on the background of what's going on with those things. So like I told him, when you're reading a book, like we read the words and we pay no attention to the background pages, because like why would you care about what's going on with the background of the pages? So when you're reading a book, you don't pay attention to this. Like this is not even important. You're reading a book and the background of what's going on in the book is not important. It's not as important as the words, but we have to understand that without the background, you wouldn't even be able to see the words. So that's kind of what it is for the self. Without the self, this wouldn't exist. So what I call I've been calling I since I was a little girl. I did this, I did this, I did this. The I that I'm referring to is the self. The reason why I think it's so important to have an understanding of the true self and not the temporary limited self that we believe ourselves to be is because when you realize that you are the true self and not just this limited body mind that's here today and gone tomorrow, and that's just like everything else, very temporary, very impermanent in the world, then you see the world for what it truly is, and you see the bigger picture of what's going on, and you don't find yourself feeling like, why me? Things are just happening to me. Like you don't feel so small anymore. You get a bigger sense of who you are. The self is the perceiver of everything. Like I said, the self has perceived you since you were a baby until now. The self has perceived all of your thoughts. The self is perceiving everything. It's perceiving the I that you think you are, that you think you're lacking. When you even have the thoughts that you're lacking, the self is perceiving that. And if the self could talk, it would probably laugh. Like, what do you mean you're lacking? And this is not something that can be argued. This is truth. When you sit back and you observe your thoughts, you understand that there's an observer, and then there's the actions that's going on. There's an observer. It's always something being observed. And when we figure out what's being observed, that's the background. And it's hard for the mind to know the mind because you can only use the mind to know the mind. So it's just like so controversial. But what we need to understand is that that space of the self does exist. And it's who we truly are. Not the temporary body mind form that we think we are. We are the self. And we have to get an understanding of the self. And for me, the best way to understand the self is through meditation. Is through quieting the mind. Even though quieting the mind is also a thought. But even that is observed. Like everything is observed within the self. So like I said, it's not this is not a popular idea of the world. This is not a popular way to look at the world. People will probably be like, that's blasphemy, whatever. That's your opinion. I don't really, like I said, all I require anybody to do, if they don't trust what I'm saying, is to figure it out on their own. This is not something that I'm telling you to just listen to and take it and run. This is something that you can figure out on your own by spending time with yourself, alone with yourself, and you will see that there's a difference between what you think you are and what you actually are. You will see the difference if you truly, truly seek to know what the self is. But that's it. Just go out and experiment for yourself. And if you have any questions, you can leave them down below and we can figure it out together. Because at the end of the day, no one really knows what's going on. We all have thoughts and theories and whatever about what's going on. But understand that all of this is being observed by the self. No matter what we think, see, or know, it's all being observed by the true self. Food for thought. I love you all. Until next week. Bye.